People everywhere are starting to listen to him. He's going on French, British, Italian, Japanese television.
This is the Wide World of Weingarten.
Welcome back, Wide World of Weingarten. It's Wednesday, November 3rd, just after 2 o'clock here in Los Angeles. The World Series is over. The Braves won Game 6, 7-0 over the Astros and won the series in 6 games. Jorge Soler won the MVP, and even though the baseball season is over, there is so much to talk about. The sports world just keeps going. Aaron Rodgers got COVID this morning. The Breeders' Cup is coming up this week. There's football every single day until the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and that's just off the top of my head. We haven't even gotten into awards or any of the other stuff going on. But speaking of awards, the World Series is over. The awards finalists are going to be announced November 8th. The actual announcements are delayed until the week of November 15th, going all the way to the 18th, which I think is kind of stupid. They know the awards winners. They've known them since the end of the season. We've known Shohei Ohtani is the award winner since a month before that, the AL MVP, and they're making us wait another 2 weeks for a week's worth of hour-long awards show on MLB Network, and I think it's just foolish, and it's another example of the BBWAA and MLB just being completely out of touch with everything else, and especially with baseball embracing gambling, and not just embracing it, but having official betting partners. You would think that doing something to engage the betting audience would be beneficial, and making the bettors who've bet a lot of money into this market wait several weeks for these awards announcements. Just it's foolish, and I don't like it. And what I really don't like is the fact that MLB has official betting partners who put up lines on these markets on a daily basis throughout the season, and they adjust the lines, and we talk about the lines all season, and then they vote on them and they make us wait. They literally are making us wait. They voted the day after the season ended, and we have to wait all of the playoffs, post the playoffs, 2 more weeks to hear that Shohei Ohtani is going to win. I just don't understand it, and nobody at the BBWAA or anybody affiliated with baseball can give me a answer as to why they're doing stuff like this. But I really hope it changes, and I hope the official betting partners of baseball kind of push MLB to change this, because it's something that, like the NBA, for example, they announce the winners throughout the playoffs. Like, that's something more reasonable that can at least keep people engaged, or they could do it all right before the beginning of the World Series. That would be great. But yeah, that's just one thing that annoys me. Try not to rail on the BBWAA too often, but expect this topic to come up again when the awards week starts. I won't really talk about awards until we know the finalists or anything. There's really just nothing to talk about until it happens. It's just we've been sitting around waiting for a couple months, and there's only so much I could say. But as far as the World Series recap, I don't know how much I actually need to recap because everybody watched it, but the Soler hedges all got wiped out. But fortunately, Jorge Soler hit the first home run of the game at 12-1 odds, so that made up for that and then some. The home run itself, I didn't actually realize Soler cleared the train tracks until I watched after the game. I was kind of caught up in the moment, and I was very happy when he hit the home run because I knew it meant he was likely going to win the MVP if they held on. But then Freddie Freeman did his thing and hit a home run, and I was slightly worried that they would use that as an excuse to give it to Freddie Freeman, and Freddie Freeman's the heart of the Braves and the longtime veteran and the leader, and the sort of Tom Brady narrative that would have given him the award, even though those stats, it's great. He hit a home run, he had a double, but Jorge Soler did all the heavy lifting. In Game 6, he hit the home run that opened up the scoring, and the first blow, the 3-run home run. In Game 4, he hit the pinch hit home run to win the game. In Game 1, same thing, home run on the road to start the party. There's no way you could not give it to Jorge Soler, and I'm really happy that they got it right, because there was a minute there where I was a little worried that Freddie Freeman would win, and I had to have some other people reassure me that it wasn't going to happen. And when they did, I was much more assured that Soler was going to win, and I'm very happy for Jorge Soler, obviously, and I'm happy for all the people that won money on the bet. I'm I'm glad people tailed it. One guy told me he won he won at the Westgate in Vegas and took $1,500 to the craps table and turned it into 32,000. So that's awesome. I'm glad I could be a little part of that. Someone else told me that they paid off their car with the winnings. That's awesome. You know, it's always great when you can actually turn your gambling winnings into something tangible. A lot of people just end up losing it back. So when you do something like pay off your car, that's usually something that you'll remember long term. So that's cool. Glad I could be a part of little things like that. Max Fried pitched a great game. He had 6 strikeouts, hit that over. He probably could have pitched longer if he needed, but they didn't. They had a 6-0 lead, so they pulled him after 6 innings. Yeah, got the money there. Finally won a World Series MVP. It took me a couple of years, and then I won Corey Seager last year, and this one this year. So Soler and Seager back to back. Hopefully we can win another one next year, and then like I said, we got the regular awards coming up soon, so that's cool. Got Ohtani, a lot of other stuff up in the air, but it's looking like it's going to be a profitable MLB awards season, and it was nice to end the season with a big MVP winner, and it'll be nice to bridge that with some MLB futures, the player stuff next week. So we'll get into that in next week or so. Then the technical details of some of this stuff. We don't really get a chance to talk about technical details a lot on Gil's show or anything, but this is kind of one of the examples of the difference between credit betting and post-up betting. If you bet Soler at a post-up shop, you just go and collect. If you bet it online at a post-up, legal or offshore, I mean, the process is similar. You have to withdraw, but a lot of books, they'll do the pending withdrawal trick where you have to wait 24 hours for the withdrawal to process, and in the meantime, they know you're going to bet on some NBA games and lose. Don't fall for that kind of stuff. Or there'll be a big red casino button next to the withdrawal, or some sort of button telling you to get a 25% bonus for trying the virtual slot machines. Don't fall for that. This is all psychological. That's all on purpose. It's all there to trick you. The point is to withdraw your money. If you don't withdraw your money when you win a big bet, you're just going to lose it back. And, you know, that's basically what the books want. So don't do what the books want. Withdraw your money. If you want on credit, it's slightly harder. You have to collect, which likely means waiting till next week, you know, because it's the middle of the week. I don't know how you deal with your accounts, but I don't have any that settle up in the middle of a week, so you got to wait. And there's 3 golf tournaments this weekend. There's football every day. There's Winter League Baseball. There's NBA. There's NHL. And there's the Breeders' Cup. But, oh, man, there's the Breeders' Cup. There's nothing more dangerous than winning lots of money on a big future a couple days before the Breeders' Cup. That is a recipe for disaster. Also a recipe for a great time, but, you know, oh, man, like, it's in Del Mar too, so it's down the street, and you know, San Diego, 2 hours away, not really down the street, but I mean, having the world's richest horse race in your backyard, the right after you won some big futures is quite the recipe for a disastrous weekend, and that's exactly what the books want, is for me to lose all my money back betting on horses. So I won't do it, no matter how badly I want to bet all the Breeders' Cup races and bet all the exotics and win all the money. You know, I've found in the past that, oh, well, I'll just bet the Breeders' Cup Classic. I'll just bet Art Collector to win. Becomes Art Collector is now boxed in a trifecta and a pick 3 and a pick 4. And I bet the Turf Sprint and the Juvenile Fillies and 3 other races before because I was watching TVG or whatever, and NBC, I guess, is broadcast on. Yeah, so I've won and lost lots of money betting on horses, and horse racing is probably one of the most awesome things you can bet on, and it's a lot of fun. But so is playing with flamethrowers and doing cocaine, and I don't recommend those either. But you know, it's the Breeders' Cup. You really just have to decide how much money you're willing to lose. I would really go crazy on the Breeders' Cup, but I'm content with the winnings that I've won this week. It's been a rather big week. Early, I had a 50-1 winner on Monday, and Jorge Soler at 35 and 40-1 on Tuesday, and the first home run. And I have Shohei Ohtani lined up in a lot of the accounts that are already going to have to pay me. So again, technical details. It's kind of the difference between being good at gambling and being good at making money. It's what you do between winning and withdrawing and collecting. Just don't give them back your winnings. I know everyone's done it. I've done it, but the one of the ways to be a better gambler is to sometimes know that you just got to sit around and do nothing and wait to collect. And for me, this is one of those cases. And another technical thing is, if you do kind of run up a large balance on an account, on a good account, like you can always bang them for more, but how much is it worth long term? Do you want to get booted after the season? Do you want to get that account closed? Can you keep that account for multiple seasons? Is this a relationship that you can have for 5 years or 10 years? And those exist, as opposed to some rinky-dink Ace 23 accounts or whatever that get cut off every month or every 2 weeks and you don't get paid. Again, part of being successful is knowing when you've ruined a guy's week or ruined a guy's month, and knowing that keeping that account is better long term than to bust them on the injury news this morning on Aaron Rodgers. Is it really worth $1,000 when you're already up 25 times that to piss off somebody that's gonna pay you that and not close your account, and then maybe that'll sour things? No, it's not worth that. So there's a lot of things that you have to keep in mind after a big win, and it's very hard. It's very hard to sit around and do nothing, but that's really what you got to do if you want to be successful. Find other accounts to play in, find a book to read. I got all these books behind me. They're not props. I've actually read most of them, and the ones I haven't read, I'd really like to read, and the ones I have read, I'd like to reread. But sometimes you just have to bet a little bit less and be happy with the big wins, and know that you can only win so much before you sour a relationship with a valuable account. So I'll be sitting around a little bit more than usual this weekend. I made a couple NFL bets. Probably not going to add much to golf. We'll talk about all that though. The Aaron Rodgers news though, that's the big news of what? Today's Wednesday. That's the big news of Wednesday. That broke this morning right around 8 o'clock Pacific time. I was probably right before 8 o'clock. I was getting ready to go on the air with Gil, and I actually looked I logged into a couple accounts to see if the line was still up. I was about 4 minutes late because I went out to get coffee and just missed it. Probably for the best though, because like I said, just not really worth a $1,000 bet or something to piss off somebody that you've already beaten this week. But I'll I have a couple thoughts on this game. And I mentioned yesterday, I already betted in some Wong teasers, so I'm tied to Green Bay at 8.5 in some Wong teasers already. I think I tied it to the Rams and one other game. I don't remember what though. As far as this game though, I think the Packers front office is secretly happy, or not so secretly happy, just outright happy that they get a chance to play Jordan Love with no controversy in a regular season game, and that Aaron Rodgers isn't injured. It's the best deal for the Packers front office, especially with a 7-1 record. They can afford to lose a game here, but they get actual game tape and actual first team reps for Jordan Love. So obviously Rodgers gets his job back the second he's cleared, but there's no doubt in my mind really that the Packers front office probably isn't too upset with the cushion they have to make the playoffs, that they get a chance to evaluate Jordan Love this week. If you have the Packers at +8 or so right now, I saw a lot of offshore places taking it down, not reopened. It did start to reopen at a bunch of legal shops, but like I said, I'm not trying to bet a ton this week, but I'll probably have to bet like $500 or something on the Packers at +8. I thought there was a huge overreaction last week when Devontae Adams was out, and that line went from 4 to 6, and now this line went from a pick to 8 on, with the Packers on the road. I think that's a massive overreaction from Rodgers to Love. It's not like this is a preseason game. It's not like everybody else is injured. I understand how hard it is to play without the quarterback, and especially when your quarterback's Aaron Rodgers. But Chiefs at home could barely beat the Giants last week, and now it's a short week with the Packers coming in. I think this is just it's an interesting situation as far as the reporting on Rodgers so far. I expect it's probably going to be a bigger story over the next day or two, or the next week at least, until he's cleared. There's already some people making rumblings about how the NFL has been allowing him to flaunt COVID regulations that everyone else has to follow. And the last statement I saw right before I started recording is that he basically or the league said that it's the team's responsibility to enforce it. So I think everyone's kind of playing the blame deflection game here. The Packers head coach Matt LaFleur deflected and wouldn't answer questions about Rodgers and his vaccination status, which to me makes a lot of sense because Aaron Rodgers is Matt LaFleur's boss, not the other way around. As long as Aaron Rodgers is a Packer, Matt LaFleur is going to basically do what Aaron Rodgers wants. I don't think it's a typical coach relationship. Matt LaFleur is not Aaron Rodgers' boss. It's absolutely the other way around. Ian Rappaport reported that Rodgers had a homeopathic treatment from his personal doctor for immunization, but he doesn't follow up on what that treatment is or have any details, so it just sounds like some made-up PR crap to me. I'd like to hear more details, or maybe hear what Rodgers has to say before I really have more thoughts, or really, because I'm going off reporting that's really like half reporting, half PR right now. But Rodgers is out this week. He might be out next week for Seattle. As far as the actual impact, the betting impact, you've seen it on the market this week. It dropped the Packers almost 8 points against the spread, which I said is crazy. It's overreaction. It's going to hurt Rodgers' MVP campaign. Obviously, missing one game is less bad than missing two, but if he does end up not playing against Seattle next week for some reason, I think a 2-game absence would essentially eliminate him from the MVP campaign, or eliminate him as an MVP candidate. So he's going to be behind the Bradys and the Staffords. He already was, but he's now clear behind. I would probably even drop him to like 25-1 before behind Lamar Jackson. We'll go over all those markets tomorrow, though. I'm looking forward to betting some of them this week. I got a little distracted with the World Series, so I'm a little behind on NFL futures this week. But I do think +8, Green Bay +8 is worth a small bet straight up. This isn't a preseason game. That's really what it comes down to. And then for golf, what I said earlier about betting the extra stuff unnecessarily, I could go deeper into both of these fields this week. I like Minwoo Lee at 28-1. I sized 23-1 at Circa, 18-1 at Bookmaker. So it's tempting, I can find a 28-1 that's better than those prices. Like, it's again worth a small bet maybe. George Kotze, who won the Portuguese Masters in 2019, is available at 45-1. Lucas Herbert, last week's winner in Bermuda, is available 120-1 at Bookmaker, 110-1 at Circa to win this week in Mexico, now that he's got his PGA Tour status. But I'm tempted to bet Herbert. I'm just going to pass because I've already won a bunch of big bets this week. I also don't really think he's going to win. But it's if you listen to any of these episodes, you listened last week, I talked about Herbert. I mentioned him at 60-1. I didn't bet it. I was bummed. I said, it's annoying when you let a 60-1 winner get away. And then on Monday I had a 50-1 winner, and Tuesday I had a 35-1, a 40-1, and a 12-1 winner. So you really can't dwell on what you didn't win. You just gotta focus on the markets that are ahead of you, because there's always stuff to bet, and there's always big winners out there. I think there's a misconception that big winners don't come in all the time, but from my experience, there's odds at big numbers all around you all the time, whether it's a first touchdown or a second touchdown or a golf future. I mean, golf futures, you have low odd favorites, but there's guys who win at 50-1, at 60-1, 80-1 every week, every couple weeks, and there's 3 tours, there's 3 events, 4 if you count the women's Saudi Aramco series this week. There's always more stuff to bet on, and there's always opportunities to hit stuff at big odds. It's just a question of finding them, but they're there, and we'll talk more about them. There's always more bets to make, and I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do NFL futures tomorrow. We'll go through the markets and identify the prices that stand out. And I'll see if there's any numbers on anything that stand out this week. Like I said, though, as far as NFL stuff this weekend, as far as college football, I probably will not bet very much more than I've already put out, which is a couple teasers and the Packers +8, just because there's really nothing I could do at this point that will improve on the week that I've had through Tuesday. So Monday, Tuesday, those were the winning days. Everything else is basically time to relax and work on some other stuff this week. But we'll obviously go over all the markets, and none of this will stop me from betting some futures this week. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and thank you for listening, and congratulations to everybody that won the Soler stuff and who's waiting on the Ohtani stuff. Hopefully it's going to be a very profitable month, and like I said, thanks for listening.